I mean, parent-child relationships are really loaded, and this play is full of them. Were you able to draw on anything before in terms of parents' relationships?
I have a 10-year-old daughter who's seen the show 9 times.
Oh my God.
All the time. She's a great kid. But yes, I do. So there are a lot of things I recognize in my, particularly in my relationship with Louise, which I think is wonderfully understated in the show. But my relationship to Rose is unique in a way. It isn't really something based on personal experience, other than the frustrations that all relationships have. But it's something that kind of wonderfully has come out of working with parents.
One of the things that's unique, it seems to me, in this revival is the sexual heat between you and Helen. There's a real erotic relationship there. No comment?
What did she say?
Talk a little bit about how you shaped it with Arthur, the erotic relationship that you have.
Well, I think we developed our erotic relationship when we did the revival of the benefit performance of Anything Goes.
We did. So for some, we've known each other for a long time because of our common Juilliard connections. But for some, we got to work together. It was a one-night revival of Anything Goes. Howard McGillen and Patty reprised their roles, and I got to do for Evil for one night. But Patty and I had such a hoot and a holler, and that relationship was all about sex.
So we performed the bases there.
That's right.
I think, you have chemistry or you don't. And Boyd and I have chemistry. I think you have chemistry with a lot of people. You just open yourself up and be real and be open, and then all of a sudden, who comes in? And you're, attracted to people. You know what I mean? So sexually or not, you just allow yourself to open up. And, well, that's enough.
I find that your Rose is a sexually driven woman. It seems to me that's part of her energy.
Well, I read the books, and Rose, to me, Rose Howitt was, she got what she wanted, and she could manipulate men. And I don't think it was an intention. I think she just attracted a certain male that would lay down his life for her, or she could get what she wanted out of him. And it was, I think when she did use men, it was to get what she wanted for the act, not for herself, because they describe her as short, curly hair, blunt, cut fingernails, no makeup, no nail polish, no. She wasn't a peacock. She attracted men in another way, and a vulnerability and a fragility that I don't even think, if these books are accurate, that she was aware of. But when a man came to her, she could get him to do what needed to be done so that June and Louise and the rest of it, and the farm boys or whatever, continue on their path to glory. So there's a sexuality in that. Now, so when we worked on it, first of all, it's in the text. It's clearly in the text. So I don't have to supply anything. Arthur wrote it. And then Boyd and I like each other. So it's not difficult to be attracted to each other on stage in these characters. And like I said, I came from the books, and I came from that idea that she was sort of a man trap. Unaware of this.
Yeah.
Not like Mata Hari, not like she just was this plain old. I mean, they describe her really plainly. Anyway.
A little bit about your mother, because I have a house upstate, and I was in a framing shop. And I went into the framing shop, and I saw this picture. I think this mic's going in and out, but I'll try to project. I saw this picture of a woman with 2 boys on a staircase, and I was so drawn to it that I asked the owner of the framing shop if I could buy the picture, and he said, no, I'm sorry, I'm just framing this picture for Bob Lupone. That's him and his mother. And that was your mother. I was so struck by how powerful she was. But talk to me a little bit about your mom and your relationship with your mom. And I don't think she was a stage mother. I think we touched on that the last time we talked. But how did she influence your career?
Well, it's interesting how there was always music in our house. My dad loved jazz, my mother loved opera. Somehow musical theater got in the middle of that. And of course, I wanted to be a rock and roll singer. So yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, it was totally. I mean, the transistor radios, Jones Beach, Cousin Brucey, forget about it. I knew I would never be a rock and roll singer, but I wanted to be a rock and roller. And period. And but Mom and Dad got divorced. Mom thought her life was over because she got divorced at a time when Catholic women in a small town on Long Island would be ostracized for getting divorced. So Bobby and I knew what we wanted at a very early age. Neither one of our parents were in theater and show business, whatever. But she devoted her life to her kids. So my brother Bobby and I basically said, okay, you're going to drive us here, and you're going to drive us there, and you're going to drive us there. The dance lessons, or whatever, the yoga lessons, blah, blah, blah. She never understood what we did. I think she was eventually very proud of what we did. But she was also, and this was for me, I keep saying that Rose is not a monster, she's simply a misguided woman. Most of our parents left their mark. And I say this, and my son's right there, I'm hoping I don't leave a bad mark on my kid. But our parents leave marks on their children, and my mother was misguided. And her mother was misguided. She's first generation American. And my grandmother didn't speak Italian, and they denied they were Italian. So that my mother denied to her, to the day she died, that she was Italian. So I grew up with a series of lies. And it was difficult to discern the truth between what she was saying and how she was living and where I fit into this family. So, but ultimately, I come to the conclusion my mother did it out of love, and my mother was deeply misguided. And so that was my approach to Rose, that she's not putting her kids on this thing. Clearly Rose Hovick knew what she was doing. Both of those women became famous women. So they had talent. And I think also, if you read the books, she was desperate to get out. And the Thompson women, all of them left. The grandmother left, the mother left, and Rose. And they didn't leave the families. The mother of Rose went out and applied her craft. She made fine lingerie for the upper class women. So she made her own living, and then she came back in the family, and then she got an order, and she went off and did it. So, and I think of my son. I think about my imprint on my son. I think when I do this part, in my subconscious, there is my mother, and there is my son. That's what I'm.
Laura, does